Some roared like lions. They started making strange sounds. They shouted. They lay down and slept wherever they liked and fell all over the forest. They teased each other and laughed. Some cried. Others did something else. They screamed in different ways. Seeing the behavior of some, the other monkeys seemed to have misunderstood. When the guard stopped them, they spread their knees and showed their backsides. The poet who describes this does not seem to have any concealment here. He is describing the monkeys. For a moment he is in a light and open mind. Januvastu prakrishnashcha deva margam char darsita. The poet says the divine guidance 4 times. Dadamik got angry. A fight breaks out between the guards and the monkeys. Blood flows, wounds are inflicted. Without caring that Didimuka was an uncle to the ruling king, Angadu knocked him down. His arms, shoulders, and chest were injured. He became furious. He hit everyone on both sides. But he could not stand against the entire army of rebellious monkeys. However, he escaped with difficulty and threatened to complain to Sugriva. Angadu was the reason for all this foolishness, because the angry king thought that he would destroy all these monkeys. Thinking thus, he went to Sugriva, who was sitting with Rama and Lakshmana. He narrated his complaints in order. Sugriva heard all this. Didimuka explained how the monkeys under the control of Angada and Hanuman had destroyed the garden. He described the worst atrocity of all, the Devadwara demonstration. Rama and Lakshmana did not immediately realize what was happening. Isn't it monkey language? They asked Sugriva what was the matter. This was what surprised everyone. Instead of getting angry, Sugriva became happy. The details of the report given by Dadamik, the monkeys who had gone to the south had attacked his guard garden, they had rebelled. They had held a big party there, he must have returned victorious, otherwise, such a barbaric crime would not have been committed. The task assigned to him must have been completed. He had seen Sitadevi, there is no doubt about this. I firmly believe that Hanuman himself had completed that task, he said. This was happy news for everyone. Sugriva told Dadamik, I am very happy to hear all this. We are in a hurry to see him. Send him here as soon as possible, but as soon as possible. As a result, the monkeys' welcome ceremonies ended. Although what happened now was a simple incident, the poet describes it very naturally. He describes everything with such enthusiasm that it is visible to the eye. Just as he described the way in which Swayamprabha entertained the monkeys in his cave, which was like the house of Indra's web, with such solemnity and respect, and how he described the rules of conduct and trade, the same mind also describes this celebration. What he saw there was solemn and full of beneficial respect, what is here is so excessive. Tathordavavasino shantastathadrapatavasasaha sarjapaska taponatiastatha panchataponvitaha. Ashramas. The first 5 cantos of the Ramayana provide a picture of the life of the ascetic at that time. From the 6-day yagna held in Vishwamitra's ashram to the darshan of Matanga in the Kishkinda canto, the life there was almost the same, until the darshan of Vishwamitra. When the sage took Rama to protect the yagna, up until the description of the life of the old sage Matanga in Matanga, Shabari gives these brothers, we get a picture of the life of the ascetic. There is one chief sage, around him there are many others engaged in various kinds of fasts and studies. They follow their rules of loyalty. Their mentality is to be left to themselves. Their desire is that there should be no obstacles or worries in their rituals and trades. The demons would disrupt those rituals, they would lay hands on them with acts of violence. They were fighting with the residents of the ashram, extinguishing the fire of the sacrificial pits, pouring blood and rotten meat, and making life there miserable, so they sought the protection of the Kshatriyas. Such oppressors must be destroyed. The ascetics should not waste the penance they had achieved for such a small feat. They were gentle, calm, and non-violent. The life of the ashram was harmonious. It was devoted to meditation. They took care of the plants there. They built the huts well. Bathing and worship were held at specific times. Their food was fruits and roots. Birds also flew there without fear. Wild animals roamed there without fear of humans. The ashrams of Bharadwaja, Atri, Sutiksya, Agasya, Matanga, etc. were unique. Bharadwaja and Agasya were powerful sages who were able to provide shelter in spiritual practices and were able to provide hospitality to guests of any number, class, and size in a worldly manner. Bharadwaja, who was the king, asked Bharata generously. Why is he coming here after assembling an army? What is the purpose? He also asked Bharata to introduce him to his mother, who had done a historic deed. The banquet and entertainment given by the sage to the people of Ayodhya can be seen to be so rich and provide happiness. That ashram was located near Ayodhya, in fact it was Prayag, and the surrounding kingdoms used to pay homage to the ashram. Both Bharata and Rama had faith in the sage. Here we get a picture of the kind of power and influence he had. There is more peace in the ashram of the Sutaksiyas, there is more worldly commonality. Sharabanga is the one who is observing the penance in his hermitage, but on the way to Sutaksha's hermitage, a large group of ascetics are seen in Sharabanga's hermitage. When they see Rama, they describe their situation to him and ask for what kind of protection they need. The entire time he should have remained in Dandakaranya was spent in the work they requested. The list of these vows there shows the nature of the vows. Vaikanasa Valakilya Samprakshala Marachisa Ashvakatashtha Bhava Patraharishta Tapasar Dantalu Kalinashiva Tathaivanamjakar Parai Garatshire Ashayashta Tathaivanava Kasikar Manaya Salilahara Vyabhakshastathaparay Akasa Nilayasaiva Tathasthadilasirina. All these are, Sarv Brahma Shriya Justa, those who are steadfast, Samahita. All of them had the radiance of Brahma. They were engaged in their vows with utmost devotion. This picture of the fasts and fasts is a testimony not only in terms of its diversity but also in the loyalty and sincerity of their spiritual efforts. Seeing such people, anyone who is strong is inclined to trust in their help and protection. When they all come together and appeal to him, the words, Paratvatha Gathurvira Prithivyam Nopapadyate, come out. He is the only help they have, he alone is capable of doing that task. We can easily understand Rama's promise to provide them with the protection they ask for. Doing such things without being heard is the belief of that time, the work of a Kshatriya. It is not to say that people cannot do it when they come and specifically ask for help. It is not in Rama's nature to say so in such a situation for the benefit of such people. Agastya is in a very difficult situation. He is a very powerful sage. His ashram must be very large. He is waiting for Rama. He does not understand why he has delayed for so long. What he gave to Rama was a sword. It had the special power needed to destroy the demons. He probably knew on whom it was to be used. It is Agastya who directs that the ashram be established in Janasthana on the banks of the Godavari. This must be said to have set a stage for the subsequent adventures or the subsequent events of the Ramayana story. From the very first days onwards, it seems that the sages were the ones who engaged the entire world and carried out this entire task. After leaving the palace, they were the ones who took the country from one part to the other and turned it towards the south. It was in this southern region that the demons under Kara had set up camp and a circle of activity. Shurparnika was roaming there. Marika was also engaged in some spiritual practice there. As soon as they reached Chitrakoot, the news spread that Rama, Lakshmana and Sita were wandering in Dandakaranya. The news reached the ears of sage Matanga from a distance. The sage was expecting that Rama had come to see his ashram on the banks of Pampasaruva. When he arrived there, he told his courtiers and attendants, Shabari, to provide him with appropriate hospitality. There were no occasions when Rama would use the sword.